to do a serious one.
Yeah.
So joining you live from the World Championship 2023 in Barcelona, the Living Legend podcast.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Living Legends podcast, your source for everything related to the world of Flesh and Blood, the trading card game, and not the human aspects. Although we are, I would say that we're representative of the human aspect of Flesh and Blood. Hey, that's a tie-in. I'm Bill from both the Spike Feeders and the Living Legends podcast, and joining me as always are two lovely co-hosts. We have alphabetically Az from Go Again Gaming.
That's right. Yeah, it's going to be a good one today. Speaking about a couple of things that have happened this week, as well as a few bits of show and tell, which we haven't actually done on the channel before, which should be interesting. And I'm just sipping on a beer today, Bella Moretti, which is a nice little Italian number. So yeah, all good.
Oh yeah, my drink of choice today is a Diet Coke. And Kel, what is your drink of choice? And also, hello.
Hello, my drink of choice is water. This is Liquid Death. This is the Bury It Alive Liquid Death. I think my favorite one. It's good.
Is that a pun?
Water.
Is that Bury It Alive as in it's got berry flavor to it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, all of the names of Liquid Death are like metal sounding puns.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Kel. I kind of like did the shrug thing when you said we've never done a show and tell before. I want to amend that and say we've never done a planned show and tell, because we've definitely just randomly done show and tells where we just pull out a binder and be like, oh, go my binder.
Probably, yeah.
So,
I may or may not be showing off something in the binder that I found. I remember, I think I was mentioning it a couple weeks ago that my binder with my collection stuff in it had just kind of gone missing, but it's okay. I found it and it's safe and sound. Everything is accounted for. But yeah, for everybody who doesn't know, or if you are tuned in, Kel?
I want to say one important thing. I don't know if this is on the list or not, but this is actually the last episode of the Living Legends podcast on the Red Zone Rogue YouTube channel. Starting next week, they will exclusively be on the new Living Legends podcast YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Living Legends Podcast. And the name is just called The Living Legends of Flesh and Blood TCG Podcast. I will have links, as always, in the description down below, and I'm going to be posting quite heavily on like my socials and stuff to kind of push a lot of people over there. We have like 100-something subs already, but I'm confident we can get up to 1,000 pretty quickly. So go ahead and subscribe. Be one of the first 1,000. Help us speed run to 1,000 subscribers. We appreciate you. And go do it. There's not going to be any more here. I'm still going to be doing Flesh and Blood content on Red Zone Rogue, but not the Living Legends podcast. It's going to be on its own thing. So go do that.
We're splintering off. It's a coup. So for everybody who enjoys listening to us, first of all, thank you very much for your support, and second of all, our episodes moving forward will be on exclusively that new YouTube channel, so please be sure to check that out. Subscribe, follow us so that you can get updates when we post new stuff.
Ring the bell and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Does the bell even exist?
Ring the bell.
Does the bell still exist on YouTube?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It does, but every channel that I have the bell rung for, they don't even like recommend their stuff to me anymore. I don't know. The YouTube, the back end of YouTube is just a big pile of spaghetti. So it'll give you the best shot of seeing our content sooner rather than later.
The upload time is not going to change though. So if you're used to it being at 6 a.m. every Wednesday PST, it's still going to be 6 a.m. PST every Wednesday. So that's not changing. The podcast version, audio only version, is not changing. The only thing that's changing is this is just going to its own separate YouTube channel for a lot of reasons that I think will end up being better for both the podcast in the long run as well as Red Zone Rogue in the long run. So go do that.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I mean, I think this is a good moment to shout out everybody who has engaged and commented and then came over to support this new platform as well that Living Legends podcast now finds itself on. So I'm just going to try and speed run a load of these comments from last week. just because, you know, we like to hear from people and just encourage you to say hello while we speed run to that 1,000. So Griffin Wing is saying, I'm audio only, but I'm still here for the support. So thanks for subscribing.
Yeah.
Wing, thanks for the comment. Matterfac says the new hero from the Armory deck should be adult Ira. I'm sure people would want that. Yeah, that's a good shout.
That'd be cool.
And they're still saying, I'm going to watch the same episodes on both channels because why not? Keep it up.
Based.
So, yeah. So still watching your content and this Living Legends podcast content while they still can. Fantastic. Lovely old job. Hamman says, part of the first 100. Yeah, so we're already at 164 as of right now. So keep speed running us. Florgness, who's commented on a couple of our videos so far, says, I want Arachne to get an Armory deck treatment so bad. So that's a good shout, actually, Arachne.
Yeah, me too.
Because
I was gonna say, despite my price concerns with the product, I still would very much love an Arachne product. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, and Brian said in his keynote interview, I'm not sure whether you heard this, Bill. Did you watch the keynote thing? We'll catch up with it.
I did not. No, I did not.
Because he basically said that he wants to work on a set that was oops, all Arachnes.
Hell yeah.
So there's definitely some sentiments and some ideas out there that Arachne, you know, wants to get some more support, I think, because Arachne was Brian's first designed hero, I think, wasn't it?
I think so. I think I remember him saying that.
In Dynasty.
Poor Arachne. Like, Riptide keeps getting cards printed specifically for Riptide, and he's actually becoming good, and Arachne's just sitting there being like, what about me? What about me, guys? I killed the Emperor. Do I get anything cool?
Yeah, exactly. More lose the game effects, please.
Yeah.
Just continuing on these comments again. If you want to, just make this show a bit much better. Obviously, comment on the things, and we'll read them out as much as we can. Hero Urabano is saying, "I'm so happy you guys decided to make the podcast its own channel. Great to get back into the fold and among the first 1,000." So I don't know what this person's experience has been with Flesh and Blood, but the fact that they made a statement saying, "Great to get back into the fold." So let us know next week. You know, what's your journey been like? Thanks for coming back. Hank from Goblin Reserve is still saying that we should upload every single video from our catalog onto the new channel. No thanks.
No, so
that would take
I'll tell you,
a long time, and those are probably gone.
Quickly, the reason why I'm not gonna is, first of all, they don't exist on my computer anymore. I basically delete them after the videos are published, and I make sure they look good after they're published, then I just delete them. And second of all, in order to do that, because of the fact that they're deleted, I would have to re-download all 108, 100 and whatever number of episodes, and then re-upload all of them with like the thumbnails and like the descriptions. And you know what you could do if you want to go check our back catalog? There is a playlist called the Living Legends Podcast, and it's a podcast playlist, because those are a thing on YouTube, and you can go click it. And it's on the Red Zone Rogue YouTube channel, but it's also on the Living Legends Podcast YouTube channel. If you just go to the main page, scroll down a little bit, it's right there. Boom, all of them. They're all there. So, and then the playlist in order. Yeah.
Exactly, and we don't want to sort of shy you away from the video versions, because you get to see our lovely faces every week. But there is an audio platform where where they are all listed in audio form, so you can go and listen to them there as well. So another meaty comment, no pun intended, because this person's name is called Steamed Hams.
Hell yeah.
I didn't even mean to do that. That was great. So Steamed Ham saying, "Hey guys, just want to point out, before Mistvale, you said that the lack of releases in Fab meant that you didn't have much to talk about, but judging from this roadmap, there's going to be way more regular product releases from now on." And that's something I wanted to get your thoughts on, Bill. I know you haven't really, you didn't pay attention to the keynote. So there's a couple more products coming out, which I'll be interested to know what your thoughts are on. And then they say, wanted to ask, what heroes do you want to see in the Armory decks? I remember at the start people were pushing the idea for it should be more for beginners, but I think there's definitely value for established players with the new equipment and support. I think they should target heroes less represented in the meta but aren't too complicated. I think Max would be a better than Dash IO or Teklo-Vossen, for example. So we can answer that. What Armory decks do we want to see going forward?
I mean, I would love to see Prism, but specifically aggressive Prism, and that's not the type of Prism that the man wants you to play. The man being James White.
Yeah, well, that style. Yeah.
Yeah. But for like recent ones, I don't even know. I like because all of the heroes that I liked to play were A in Blitz and B now banned. So like my other answer would be Chain, but that doesn't happen. I would, I guess at this point, it would be more like aspirational. Like this is something that I think the game would benefit from. So like maybe a Riptide precon, I think would be kind of cool. Again, like,
Well,
or maybe
apparently-
original. Apparently there is one. Is that for real?
Apparently, the Aelia deck is a Riptide deck in disguise.
Yeah.
Oh, I have heard that.
I mean, like,
But
and
yeah,
also
apparently so, but-
they just keep printing cards for Riptide. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But like, they literally just keep throwing cards in the expansion slot for Riptide until he gets good. Like, that's their strategy to make Riptide playable. It's like, here's more crap for Riptide. Here's a new set. Here's another thing for Riptide. He'll be good eventually. Just keep giving him stuff. So
I'm playing a lot of Rippy at the moment because I'm playing him in the league that means nothing, and I'm really enjoying it at the moment. It's really cool. And the new card does help quite a lot. It does some cool things, but we can get onto that. Kel, what Armory deck would you want to see? Whether it's a new character that we've heard of in snippets of lore or something, maybe Arachne. What do you reckon?
ooh, okay. Actually, I have three. I have three that I would really, really like to see. The first one is Arachne. That's what I was pointing to. I midway through this podcast, or so far at least, the background animation was Aelia, and then we started talking about Arachne, and then I swapped it to Arachne. So the background's now Arachne. And so, yes, Arachne. Arachne would be great. They're not getting too much love. Where some heroes like Bolton and Riptide just keep getting cards printed for them. Arachne got like one, and it's like pretty good, but like it's not enough. So Arachne needs a lot more love and support, and the Mistveil Assassin cards didn't do it. So needs more stuff. So yeah, Arachne number one. Number two, I would like to see the return of Lexi, and I mentioned this last week, but I think it'd be really cool to see Lexi, but with more balanced, maybe with just ice, like an only ice ranger could be really, really cool and interesting, especially since they made Terra a only Earth Guardian. It feels like we're missing the ranger equation to the original Tales of Aria kind of thing. So I think getting a ranger and then getting that ice quotient back in to play would be really, really cool. And then you still have all of the ice cards that are playable, like all of the ice ranger cards, and then yeah, it'd be cool. And then also Lexi is just a fan favorite, and I think it would make a lot of sense, and it would sell a lot, and yeah, it just makes a lot of sense to me. And then the third one, I didn't think about this until Az said characters in the lore, but the character that I want to see the most in the lore, and I believe her name is like Amara. It's this lady from Spears of Surreality, and we'll talk
That
about
would be Bill's hero, I reckon. That's the blue illusionist that cares about the turning illusionist, non-illusionist stuff into illusionist stuff, I reckon.
Probably. We don't know. It could be anything. She could do anything, but she's very likely the blue illusionist, silver-haired lady. She's awesome. So that's the other one that I would very much like to see. So yeah, those are my three.
Because that's what a lot of people thought we were getting, right, with Part of Mistveil. We thought that a lot of people said, oh yeah, Mira, and then Enigma just came out of nowhere. Everyone was thinking of Mira because on other cards, wasn't she, like on stuff? So
well, I mean, like also the key art for the set was a long silver-haired lady in like a blue moonlit setting, and literally that's like her whole thing. Like, look at the art. Long silver-haired lady, blue moonlit setting. It's like her thing. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get her eventually. We'll see. But
yeah, I mean, my answer for this is pretty simple because the Aelia deck came out recently, so that was my answer.
do you have any others? But, what's your backup?
My backup would be, I don't know, maybe another warrior. I don't know in in what regard, but I think we need a different type of warrior that plays on some different aspect of game rather than just reactions. I mean, Olympia wasn't really doing much, or maybe Olympia as a deck that has actually some stuff that would make him viable, because they printed that one card, visit the blacksmith or whatever it was, the golden anvil, that's what it was. But haven't really seen much hype about that. So maybe a full set of equipment for Olympia, maybe some power cards that actually do some stuff would be cool, because I really, really bought into that hero and I love the aesthetic of it, but it's just probably not worth even playing. I mean, it could be a cheap deck to pick up, I guess, but that could be what the Armory deck could be, a good starting place for him. But yeah, maybe Olympia. I do like Warriors. Love the mind games that Warriors that play with your opponents. So that'll probably be my answer for that, I'd say. Another Olympia Armory deck. But yeah, so thanks for the question, Steamed Hams. I'm just going to continue going down this because we're on a roll here. Might as well just carry on. Corlash is saying, "Yo, I'm here for the new channel. I don't even really play Fab, just Blitz precons at this point. But it's been great listening to you all and hearing your thoughts and opinions in this game. Keep it up, dudes." Nice.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Vleeps is saying we number 141. So this person actually wrote down which number subscriber they were. Fantastic, lovely old job. Thanks you guys for this LL podcast. Heart and smiley face. I pray for a new ice hero. I would pray for another wizard or maybe a warrior. Ice warrior sounds pretty dope though.
Warrior would be cool.
Yeah. So I don't know how that would work, but every time your weapon hits, create a frostbite or something like that.
That sounds so annoying. That sounds really annoying.
Yeah.
Like
every time your weapon hits, give your opponent a frostbite with access to like vigor tokens and just go again on hits. And,
oh yeah.
Just frostbites at like reaction speed sounds annoying as hell. It sounds as annoying as Icelander. Frostbites at instant speed. So gross.
That's cool though, because you're still playing into the warrior thing. You're like, right, okay, if I don't block this, it means that I'm going to get an ice or whatever, or reactions that then give you ice. So if you then choose not to block, you're gambling as to whether the ice can affect your next turn, and you're still taking damage. So that could be a cool little mind game thing to do. If you take damage, if you just no blocks it, there's a chance that the ice warrior could then freeze you or whatever. Because there was some cool mechanics with ice that just don't really go anywhere, like freezing your arsenal and all that sort of thing. So that could be something worth revisiting. But...
okay, I say this as a very known assassin simp, but I think that those mechanics would be really dank in Assassin. Because Assassin's all about like disruption, and they could lean into more so the freezing things rather than the frostbite things. I think like freezing arsenal, freezing equipment, like locking your opponent out of stuff feels very Assassin-y to me. So like it's kind of like disabling them for a turn. Like making it so they, lore wise, maybe they get hamstringed a little bit and they can't walk as good, and so it freezes their leg zone. I don't know. I think it could be cool. And I do remember a time when Uprising was being spoiled. A lot of people were guessing we would get Assassin, which is really cool because if you look at the history of Flesh and Blood, we got Assassin in the next set. We got it in Dynasty. It was really, really hinting at Assassin with all of the stuff they were going over. And a lot of people, myself included, thought we were getting an Ice Assassin because we had two Draconic heroes and then we had Icelander. And we were like, this is weird. Why is there only like one Ice hero? So a lot of people assumed we'd get an Ice Assassin in the set as like a secret fourth hero. So hey, secret fourth hero, Ice Assassin coming back. Let's go.
Wow,
yeah,
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would be sick. Yeah, I think that would be really interesting. Ice Assassin would be like a super control-y style of deck.
Ice Assassin.
And that just makes me think that if that were to happen, there would be a dagger that when it hits makes a frostbite, which works really well with flick knives, and that would be gross.
I thought I legitimately thought you were gonna say, first of all, that sounds awesome, but I thought you were gonna say the meme of like, what's the best object to kill someone with? An ice dagger, because you kill him and then it melts. So I thought you were gonna say like you stab him and then it like melts or something.
Ice dagger would be a flavorful ice dagger would be really funny.
Yeah.
I guess that's just a popsicle, but anyway.
Icicle, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, do we have more comments? I'm intrigued now. These have been very, very good for discussion.
We still got some more, so I'll read them out. I'll carry on going. There's only a few left. As far as the future, another one from Hero Urbano. As far as the future Armory decks, I'm a mech player, so an improved adult Data Doll would be awesome. So yeah, Data Doll is one of those things, right? Printed at Intellect 3 for the upside that Data Doll gets. Could she still have been, or could they still have been a 4 intellect hero? It'll be an interesting experiment if someone says, "Oh, I'm going to make a piece of content where I'm going to play Data Doll with 4 intellect and see if it makes a difference."
Yeah,
that could be an interesting video or interesting case study as to whether Data Doll is too OP, because I don't think she is, like, even at that point, right?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
so not to be a Vorthos, I guess it's a magic thing, but we technically already have an adult Data Doll with Dash.io, because if you read the story, spoilers,
right.
Data Doll basically Ghost in a Shell fused with Dash. So Dash and Data Doll are kind of like the same being right now. So it'd have to be like a weird like flashback hero. I don't know if that's something that they want to do, but it'd have to be like a before the fusion kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, also, I've now changed my my Armory deck choice. It'll be a merchant. I want to see more merchants. A merchant Armory deck would be hilarious.
Merchant CC would be wild. Yeah,
would be wild. We've got gold, silver, and copper now as well. So I feel like there could be a space to develop it in an Armory deck as well as its own contained deck. Hey,
LSS, if you're listening to us, do it. You won't.
Do it. Ship it. So JG Benji is saying, well, to me, the nice thing about mastery packs is you can now get every class in a calendar year. This year, we got the classes spread out over 3 draft sets. So if you release 2 mastery packs a year, you're pretty much covered. So this is something I want to get your opinion on, Bill, anyway, because mastery packs was something that was released, or not released, sort of announced at the Pro Tour Amsterdam. So do you know what a mastery pack is?
Yes, I was paying attention enough to see the mastery packs, and I think personally, I think it's a pretty intriguing way to. It feels very similar to like the expansion slots that they've been doing, mixed with armory decks, but it's like supercharged. It's that idea of just trying to to pump some new cards into a class and sort of scaled up. And then also there's like crack shuffle play, right? Like they're supposed to be crack shuffle playable.
That's right, yeah.
It seems like sort of a large mix of things, and also just kind of a good starting point for people who are interested in a singular class, which is certainly not a bad thing. We've been talking about that for the Armory kits for a while, how, I think that they're supposed to be filling a spot for newer players, but they're kind of in an awkward thing, an awkward space, because I think the decks themselves are actually quite good. Again, I think I mentioned that my opinion of them in total has softened as time has gone on. But at the same time, there are just a couple of weird decisions that they made, mostly that like there's no sideboard. Some of the really good and like honestly sometimes pretty cheap staples for the decks just like weren't included. But this being a set where you're not locked into a specific 60, where you just buy the mastery packs or whatever, you crack shuffle play them for fun, just to have something to do with them. And then after, you're left with a pool of cards and you're like, okay, what can I build with this? It feels a little bit more proactive and a little bit more interactive as well, that you're able to sort of sit down and look and be like, okay, I'm going to, based on what I built, I'm going to build this style of Guardian, or I'm going to build this Guardian deck that it's sort of pushing you towards. I find that interesting. I don't hate that, honestly.
It's literally like, it's bright lights. It's like bright lights, but with a different class. That's what it is, because it's like one class, crack shuffle play. Probably less cards, if I had to guess. Like less smaller set, but
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
You mentioned the sideboard thing with the Armory decks, and I laughed because the quick start decks do have a small sideboard, which is hilarious to me. They have like some AB, which is
first
like
strike decks. You mean?
What did I say? Last strike, first strike, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, he was alluding to a beginner product. I can't remember what you said precisely, but yeah, first strike decks. Yeah, they do have an AB in them. You're right. Yeah, they have spell void in them. So if there's arcane damage,
which is hilarious to me when the devs went on Twitter and were like, "Oh, we don't think new players can handle the sideboard," and then immediately a brand new player product has a sideboard. I don't know. I just think it's funny. So yeah,
it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's a good idea, and I'm interested to see what it ends up like playing like and looking like in general. I think it'll be a cool time.
Yeah, it was JG Benji's comment here is obviously quite accurate as well in the fact that if we have a mastery pack each year which covers one class, there's a good chance that spread among the other 3 actual sets, you're probably going to see support for your class during that year. I'd say. If there's a Mastery Pack Guardian, and then obviously you've got Rosetta, which is Runeblade and Wizard, and then the next set you've got Guardian and Warrior and Brute in heavy hitters, and then the next one is Ranger, Ninja, or whatever. You're probably going to see support for all your classes in one year with these products added in. Even if it's like an Armory deck, perhaps, for a new Ranger or whatever, you're still going to get your cards that you might want to get. So, I guess it's serving all areas.
Yeah, it's very interesting as a product and as like a thing for players. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's I really dig it. I'm just really curious to see how profitable it is for LSS to do this. It seems pretty out there. So I don't know. It's just someone who's interested in the TCG industry as a whole and more on like the business side of stuff. I'm just really curious to see how this performs, how well it sells, and then like, if it's something that ends up being scarce because it doesn't sell well, or maybe there's too much product because it's not selling well. I mean, they could go either way, right? Depending on how much they print. So I don't know. I think it's just really interesting, and I'm very curious to see how well it does. So yeah. But for like players, definitely. Sweet. Guardian players, you got a whole set. That's great. So
yeah. Cool.
Absolutely.
So just finishing off these comments then. So the Armory deck right after Rosetta could be Adult Terror, but I would like if they had an Armory deck for Max. So a couple of Max lovers in the comments this week. But yeah, Terror is another one that Andrew says later on down the list here. Terror could be another good one to add because it's already seeing a first strike deck, but I don't know if that's going to be likely or not if they've just done a first strike deck. But who knows?
I mean, I think it's just as likely because we have Aurora, and she's in the first strike deck, and she's also in the main booster set. So I don't know. I don't see why they could make Terra in his own Armory deck, I guess.
Yeah. Playtime TCG, just a couple more. The Uncharted series is so good. It's like playing a Nicolas Cage movie. So that's when we were speaking about games last week, Kel. They're referring to that.
Yeah. I replied to this, and I was like, yeah, it's just like National Treasure, which it kind of is. So good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Exactly. And then 2 more comments. One of them from Carl Horvath saying, "Hey, can you get me a 5th anniversary pack 2, please?" So 5th anniversary packs, Bill, if you haven't heard about this, are exclusive to Osaka only. So they're only going to be in Japan, Osaka for Worlds this year, and it's a 5th celebration pack. So I don't know what's going to be in these packs, but they're only available to get in Osaka, Japan. And this person is saying, can I get one for them too? I don't know yet because I don't know how the hell you get these things. So I reckon they're probably going to be, they've got to be event tied, haven't they? They've got to be tied to signing up to an event and playing in it. Similar to how the sigils were, I imagine. You enter this 5th anniversary event, you get a pack or whatever, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, bro, you need to sign up for those events like as soon as possible because the Oasis events also immediately sold out. So like, I mean, at the venue. Yeah. So yeah, these are like probably more desirable than like the Oasis promos. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to be like selling 5th anniversary packs at a booth, are they? At the LSS booth, here's 5th anniversary packs, you can go and buy them. I don't think that will happen, will it?
I hope not, because like if that happens, you know, the usual suspects are going to walk over there with piles of money and just buy literally every single one they have.
Yeah.
Like there are people who show up to these events who have absurd amounts of money, and so they're going to be able to do that if they want, and they probably will if they allow it. They did that for the playmats, man. And for the first Worlds, there was a problem with the playmats where they didn't cap it, and so some people just came and just bought all of them. So.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, people buying them for other people to bring back as well, weren't they?
People did that even in Tokyo. People bought like some of the playmats just to flip. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, hey ho, we'll see what happens with that. But that's the cool thing, I guess, for people that are going. But it should be interesting to see how you get your hands on those. I will try and get the Living Legends podcast a pack each, as long as you pay for my event, which I'm going into.
If that's how it goes, yeah.
That's how it goes. We'll see what it is. I don't know what they're going to be gated behind yet. We will see, and I'm sure Uproar will follow nonetheless.
I mean, event exclusive item that's probably very desirable. What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, exactly. And then finally, Bolton's Blade commenting, saying, "I'm just commenting because I need you guys to stop bringing up Final Fantasy X. So this is my fault, because I brought up Final Fantasy X last week. I now have the urge to play it and beat it for the 6th or 7th time. I have enough things on my to-do list. Obviously kidding, definitely one of the greatest games of all time, beating it on every system it's come out on, to my knowledge. Outside of young Storm vibes for Aurora, the Final Fantasy X feel made me her consideration to play, but ultimately Terra has won out. He just looks so cool, and I have Guardian stuff to work with. So there we go, another Final Fantasy X enjoyer, and someone that also feels the same about the feel of Aurora, which is that sort of Final Fantasy sort of anime, cool looking character. So there we go. I'm not the only one, it seems.
As just passively ruining people's lives.
Absolutely, by mentioning games that are long past their expiry date, but still very, very timeless games that tell good stories, and that's what people like. So, but yeah, that was a comment section for this week. Probably a little longer than what anticipated. I thought I'd try and read out a few, but again, just leave your comments and any questions and any other stuff that you have on these podcast episodes, and we will try and read them out in a similar fashion to start things off, because there's a couple of good discussion eggs in there. Nuggets, I meant. Discussion eggs.
Egg. Do they call eggs? Do they call nuggets eggs and eggs nuggets in the UK?
I think they do. That's right.
It's like a chips crisps scenario.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. Oh dear.
Get your
There we go.
sunny side nuggets. It's all good.
Lovely.
Poached nuggets.
No, I think that's. I think that was good. I like hearing from the community, and it feels like sometimes I can't really keep up with the comments sometimes. So that was good. That's a good idea, and anybody who wants to hear their questions, if you have questions or have things that you want to tell us in the future, please feel free to comment, and we'll address them on the show.
Absolutely.
I do, before we move on to the next thing, as very generously made a little bit of a docket today to just have some discussion points. I do want to highlight something that I came across on Twitter. Majin Bay did a contest as of the 5th, so yesterday. Held a contest starting yesterday to see who could deal the most damage with Kano as possible. Magical Christmas Land, stack the deck, whatever. Just what is the theoretical maximum damage that Kano can put out? And the original comments on them were pretty crazy. There was, a couple that were in like the thousands. There was one that I could have sworn was going to be the winner. That came out relatively early on by the user The Floppy Mudkip, that was able to do 795,748 damage. And I was like, damn, like this is cool. This is a lot of damage. This is really interesting that people are able to do this. If you guys are not familiar with that contest or how it ended, the winner Guess what the damage total that they were able to achieve was.
I saw this thread, but I didn't actually see who the winner was. I just saw the first bit when he posted it.
The winner was announced approximately 3 hours ago.
Because I don't know, man. Probably I'm gonna guess. This is just a guess. So if 700,000 was the previous, I'm gonna guess. Knowing how Kano works, I guess 3 million.
Okay, Az, how about you?
I'm gonna say, yeah, I'll say 1 million.
Because so my reasoning by that 3 million is like, what's 700,000 doubled is like 1.4 million, doubled is like close to 3 million. So I was like, Blazing Ether, we'll double it twice. So I'll go 3. Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
So the line hasn't been revealed, but it has been apparently vetted directly by Majin Bey. There was a video of somebody going through the steps on Talishar to show this off, and the winning total. Neither of you were even remotely close.
Oh,
it was
shit.
28 million damage.
How?
Kano's fine. It's totally fine.
I don't know, but as a reminder, in CC, this was a CC contest. You start at 40. So I think your opponent is slightly dead at this point.
I mean, anything over like 40 damage is absurd. Like anything over 40 is absurd. So like,
yeah.
No, as a reaction, I pay 1 Oasis Respite, prevent 4, gain 1.
Is this
That's actually one of the comments on it? Is can I Oasis that?
All right, yeah. Feign Death would kill it though. If you were taking damage already in that turn, Feign Death would say no.
You'd have to. You'd have to take at least a little bit of damage because the way Kano works is like it's like stacking damage and stuff. So you could definitely feign death. But the problem is it might do like at one point it might do like 1 million and then like 2 million. Like it's probably like several instances of well over 40. So you probably need like a ton of feign deaths.
God, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I wanted to highlight that because I think that's really fun. I love these sorts of
fun fact.
Yeah, I love these just sort of like thought experiments. Again, like Magical Christmas Land. I did that a little while ago with when Solar Plexus was revealed. Sort of workshopping like what the theoretical maximum you could do with my Aggro Prism deck with the new Solar Plexus, discounting like everything in the deck. And I determined that you can go through your entire deck because there's no like multiplicative scaling in Illusionist like there is in Wizard. Obviously, the damage total wasn't nearly as big, but you were able to play your entire deck on turn 1 and deal in the neighborhood of like 100-something damage. So I think that's pretty cool, except for the fact that it gets stopped by a single Fiendl's Fighting Spirit. Like anything like that just stops it right in its tracks. But but yeah, so shout out Majin Bey. That's a really cool contest, and shout out the community for finding out that you can deal 28 million damage in Flesh and Blood as long as everything goes right.
Oh god, yeah, that's insane. I've got the brain power for that. But just while we're on the community thread, the Tall Timmy returned to Flesh and Blood this week. So
probably
the Tall Timmy
probably returned. he posted a thing and then he tweeted a tweet that was like he tweeted a card that was like concealed intentions or something like that. And I'm like
veiled intentions.
And I'm like, did he return? I don't know what this man's doing. I don't know what this man's doing.
I don't know. He's on the video. He's like he was buying tickets for like the calling in was it the calling in Melbourne? I think he was buying tickets for. But yeah, since then, obviously a lot of people have said, "Oh, welcome back, Tall Timmy, missed you, team, and all this." So it's good to see that energy back. To what capacity, we will soon find out. But he was always a great character. I've met him a few times, and his energy is pretty much unmatched. And he's a very, very tall fella in real life as well. Yeah, it's just good to see him back. But we'll see to what capacity. Just want to shout that out as well. Just while we're on the sort of context of community, we have him back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess sort of still kind of combining the community and the first strike decks that we were sort of touching on previously.
Yeah.
You do have a note here. I'm gonna hand this one right back over to you though. The Aelia Armory deck is out, and it seems that you have some interesting and potentially exciting information.
Oh yeah. So so the Aelia Armory deck is out, and a lot of people have said, "Oh, well, where can we get this in the UK?" So I know a guy who has a game shop. Kel's been on his podcast when that was still a thing. Not sure if he does it anymore, but he's got a shop to run now, so he's doing big things, which is nice. Over in Crewe in the UK, and he has a shop, and he does have some Aelia Armory decks in stock. So you can reach out to him and get some. But in order to do that, you'd have to obviously reach out to him either through my Discord, because he's in my Discord, Go Again Gaming one, or through him on Twitter as well. He's known as Tom, aka Big Boss Book Club on Twitter. I've bought another deck from him just so I can have a deck that I can just play out of the box without having to deconstruct it and put in other decks. So I'm just going to have that on my shelf that I can play with, or just as a display, perhaps. Because I do get to spoil the things. So it's nice to keep a nice little box there. So he is shipping to the UK. I'm not sure about international. Reach out to him for the question. But he's shipping to anywhere in the UK for 40 quid. So for 40 quid, you'll get the Aelia Armory deck shipped to your door in the UK. So that's pretty good price, I think. So again, if you want to get to him, he's on Twitter, or just go onto my Discord, and then I can tell you where he is on there. But internationally, you might be able to do it, but there'll be more postage, obviously. So if you're listening to this and you want to get your hands on one because you can't get one in your area or whatever, then that discussion could potentially be had as well. So I just thought I'd shout that out on this podcast, because he's got some. And I know a couple of people have been like, "Oh, where can I get them from? My LGS doesn't have them, or I haven't had allocation for it yet, or whatever." So they seem to be sometimes a bit hit and miss for your store to be able to get, depending on that situation. So let us know if you want one. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say in short. There's a few that I've got access to through Tom. So
yeah, that's excellent. That's a good service for the community, especially again because these Armory decks are supposed to be, a good introductory product. Sometimes the allocation makes that a little bit difficult to get it into the hands of the players that maybe need them the most.
It's a really good deck as well, actually. Like playing it, playing out the box is actually pretty good. So I would love to play it to some degree, like on a stream or something, perhaps. Maybe we can organise that at some point, Kel. If you're up for playing some Fab on a stream at some point.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
It's been a while, yeah.
After the league is over, I'm going to be putting my Uzuri deck back together. I was actually thinking when you're talking about this that it would be really interesting in like a year or so from now, when they have like a lot of different Armory decks. It'd be fun to do like a stream that's like pre-constructed Armory deck King of the Hill, where you have like a bunch of guests and you do King of the Hill, so winner takes on kind of thing, with only Armory decks. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, once we get some more, we can maybe sort of revisit it and even do it on the Living Legends podcast stream channel, perhaps. So I think you need 500 subscribers now to be able to live stream.
I have no idea, but
on YouTube. So help us get there, and then we can do it. We can organise it.
Yes.
Let's keep it in this little community that we're going to build now from the ground up yet again. But subscribe, and you might be able to see it in the future.
Sort of from the ground up. We get like minimum like 1,000 views. We'd probably get like, if you include the podcast only, it's like 1,500 ish per episode, but it could go as high as like 4K ish depending on the topic. So.
Got a lot of really great support.
Yeah, so keep subscribing. Even if you're one of those people that listen on audio, we've had a few people come over to here and just subscribe on YouTube, as we've read out the comments already. So those people mean a lot to us, even if they just listen to on audio, come over to the YouTube, and then you might see us live at some point as a result of your direct subscription on there, allowing us to reach another number, as DM Armada says, making that number go higher and all this. So yeah, just do that when you can. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, the last thing that I think we should talk about before we get to sort of the main topic that we had in mind, which was going to be a fun show and tell, is we do have a couple of extra spoilers to talk about that came out through the marketing email, the official Flesh and Blood LSS marketing email. And they seem to be expansion slot cards, and pretty interesting ones at that. So let's start off. I'm going to talk about Adaptive Dissolver, because it's just kind of an intriguing one. We have the it's the second in like a themed sort of set of equipment. This is a mechanologist equipment base. It does not have any additional typing. It is just a base because it has modular, which means that you can equip it to any equipment zone, and it has the subtype of the zone that it's equipped to. So similar to, I can't remember the name, but there's one that was already printed in Bright Lights. That was also a base, a modular base. That one was a legendary.
Plating,
this one because it's
think.
Yes, adaptive plating. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is Adaptive Dissolver. Has fantastic art, just like adaptive plating did as well. This one also has the action to pay 0, equip this to another equipment zone to turn it into something else. And then it also has Arcane Barrier 1, which is something that specifically Teklevasen desperately needs in any capacity. Like they just did an entire additional set of Evos. I think it was a full set of 4 that all had Arcane Barrier, just because they needed something. And now there's bases with Arcane Barrier, so you can start the game with Arcane Barrier in play. Of course, because this is a named card, you could only have a maximum of 3 of them, but you could start with 3 of them in your equipment zones, and then have the final one be whichever that you need it to be. But yeah, I think that this is just them really fleshing out Teklevasen and the support that they need to sort of maintain any amount of potential within the CC metagame, because just folding to Wizard is not a very good strategy, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, especially with arcane classes coming out now, with more wizards and rune blades that care about arcane damage, these little bits going through, it is going to be quite pivotal, I imagine, because it's funny you bring this up. Actually, it's funny that this was released recently, because on the League That Means Nothing, which is the ongoing league on Go Again Gaming, there is a match coming out this week, which is Teklo versus Viserai. And yeah, as you can imagine, Teklo needs Arcane Barrier to be able to survive that matchup. So one of the Evos that you were talking about is called Super Slip, I think it's called, Evo Super Slip. And that's one of the things that comes in with Arcane Barrier, but you need to get it onto Teklo's base equipment in order for it to work, whereas this just starts in play, but it can still Evo something onto this if he needs to. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. So that interaction will actually be playing out very soon on the League That Means Nothing, as the Teklo versus Arcane situation. So I don't know whether Matt Matagon in the Discord is a known Teklo player. He absolutely loves it. You actually would have seen, at this point, you would have seen Matt take on Kel as well in the first game.
Gonna see him hit me with like 4 tanks back to back. No worries.
Savage, absolutely savage. But yeah, so that game's coming up this week. So can Matt go 2-0? We will see. Go to Go Again Gaming and find out. The
league feels like hazing to me. It's like my first time playing new ever, like at all. And I go against I go against Teklevasen, and then I go against Prism. So you'll see how that one goes too.
Yeah. I've literally got Premiere Pro open. That's the video I'm editing at the moment. Well, not right now while we're doing this podcast, but the one I was doing before. I
just want to get to the league with a round that is less than an hour long, because spoilers for the Prism game, it's an hour and 20 minutes long, and the Teklo game was also over an hour. Jeez, man. it's
People
brutal.
love that though. If I go to the comments, one of them's like, well, I saw an hour and 10 minutes. I'm in for a good time. there's people that love it. So it's funny that your matchups have been tough, to be honest. The first 2 rounds, they have been tough ones. So we'll see what happens going forward. But I just thought I'd mention that because it's an interesting interaction between Teklo and Arcane, and there is a demonstration of that on my channel soon. So I just thought I'd shout it out.
Yeah, I'm just learning that even though the league doesn't mean anything, I typed this in our little chat. I was like, I should have probably played a deck that I actually knew how to play, because everyone I'm playing has played their decks like hundreds of times, and I'm just like, oh, I'm getting like the new player experience coming in. Like even with a fully powered optimal deck that's pretty close to like a Pro Tour list, I'm still getting like kind of dunked on.
The what player experience?
Exactly.
The new player experience.
the new player. Because I've never played this. I've never played new before. And all the limited that I played Enigma or Zen. Did quite well with them actually, like at the world premiere event. But like this, like, yeah, I don't know. And I've never played. And this is like genuinely new player, because I've never played against Teklovosm before outside of limited, and I've never played against New Prism before either.
Exactly.
So it's just like, bro, I don't know. I'm just gonna say cool to whatever you do, because I don't know what the hell your cards do. Except for stuff like Herald of Erudition or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Teklo is not one of those ones that any of us really studied in great detail, right? Bright Lights came out and everyone was like, fuck it, sort of thing.
Yeah, he's got like 3 big overpowered tanks. Like, do you know what any of them do? Like, I don't know what they all do different things. I don't know what any of them do. And so when I'm like attacking him with like, and hit him with a sensor, I'm like, I don't know what to call. Like, can I look in can I look in your bin? Like, I named the other tank that's already in your bin. So it's a little rough.
I mean,
rough.
Despite the league meaning absolutely nothing whatsoever, CC is just one of those things where you bring your hero to a lot of people at least will bring their hero that they know and love, or their pet deck or whatever, to the table to play with. Whereas you was just like, I want to bring New because she's a new deck. That was just your mentality. If you brung Uzuri, for instance, who you played for ages, then it could be a different story. But this league very much wants people to play heroes they might not necessarily play before, or random off the wall picks. Like Andrew Mason's brought Arachne to the league, for instance, and their game was out today, which is a very good one, I might add, as well, between Arachne and Viserai. So it's Andrew versus Kale, Dead Summer Art. Anyway, I'm just spewing about this league again. I don't know why, but there we go. I don't know how I got onto it. It was the Adaptive Dissolver. So let's get back to the other card, which is a pretty cool one.
Yeah, let's then talk about the other one, which is it's funny because I saw somebody reference this as new Riptide spec. It's not a specialization, but it kind of reads like one. This is called Plan for the Worst, and it is a ranger action. Again, not a specialization. It's a blue 0 cost that blocks for 3. It does not have go again, but it says look at target hero's hand and arsenal, so you get perfect information about what they currently have. At the beginning of their next end phase, they discard all cards in their hand and destroy all cards in their arsenal. So you can destroy, kind of, except it's not even an on hit. It just happens.
Just does it, yeah.
Then it also says search your deck for up to 3 traps, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle 2 cards from your hand into your deck. So on its own, this is just tutor a trap to your arsenal and pass. Which is
on the surface. On the surface, that is, if you think that part is very good, if you look at all the other intricacies of this, it's absolutely ridiculous card. So first of all, you look at all of their information, and then they have to then destroy all cards in their arsenal and their hand. So you're basically just taking them off the arsenal for their next turn. But what that also does is it gives you the information as to what stuff they have in their hand for the traps that you find afterwards. So you know that your traps are going to be turned on. But then you also get 3 cards back into your deck with this card as well. Search your deck for up to 3 traps. Oh no, sorry, it's in your deck already, but still, you get one trap into your arsenal for definite, which is ridiculous.
What's really good about the last part, by the way, I was like, when I first saw this, I was like, why do you search for 3 if you just get 1 anyway? And I think the reason is, well, first of all, the reason's pretty obvious. It means that your opponent doesn't know what trap you have in your arsenal, because you have to reveal them. So you reveal 3, and you're like, here's my collapsing trap and my other, annoying Riptide traps, just Buzzsaw or whatever. And then you put 2 back, and then you have 1. So they actually technically don't know, even if it is obvious because you saw their hand. I think that's kind of cool. It still makes it kind of a sneaky little thing. So it's like a sneaky tutor, and so I think it's kind of cool. Yeah,
just plays on so many axes, and it's obviously a blue block 3, costs nothing to play. But
I also think it's funny if you're a super late game and you only have 2 traps in your deck. This card doesn't do anything, because you would search for 2 traps, unless you have another card in your hand. If you have another one, that's fine. But if you have like 0 cards in your hand when you play this, you would search for 2 traps and then put them back immediately, which is funny.
Yeah. I think it's great though.
No, it's good. I think this card's really good.
I think this card's really good. Obviously, one of the big downsides is that it doesn't have go again, so you're ending your turn on this. But I don't think that that's bad.
I don't think it matters.
The effect is insane, especially like Az was saying, being able to perfectly suss out which of your traps is the most impactful at this stage right now. Like this reads against a lot of opponents where this is very good, which happens to be a lot of opponents. Search for Buzzsaw Trap if you haven't seen it, and it is effective for your opponent's next turn. Like, oh, cool.
Yep.
Search for Buzzsaw Trap. Search for Collapsing Trap. Dunk your opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you also know what your opponent's going to do, so they know that they're going to play into a trap of some description as well. They just have to beg, and pray that it's not the worst one. So if they've got a load of buff cards in their hand, they can either be Boulder trapped, Inertia trapped, Buzzsaw trapped. They don't know.
Well, the thing is, that's why the first part of the card is here. They have to do it. Yeah. Because if they don't do it, they have to discard their hand anyway. So like they have to eat. Yeah. They have to go into the trap, and you have to force them. Like if you're the opponent, and then your opponent, if you're playing like Zen or whatever, and your opponent plays this as Riptide, and they do the thing, you still have to play your line out and make them use their trap. Otherwise, they'll just save it for the next turn. Yeah. So this card's really good.
And another thing is as well is if you're playing Riptide, I've played a bit of it recently because of I've just built the deck for playing in the league and stuff. You'll find that your hands that you attack back with at your opponent are only sometimes 1 card or 2 card hands, because your natural turn cycle is defending a lot because you're using a lot of traps and pinging them for damage and etc. So if this is the only card left on your turn, as your crackback, you're arsenaling a trap which is going to be relevant for their turn, and you're keeping them off their arsenal for your next turn, which allows you to reserve cards and then potentially crack back with a 3 or 4 card hand with things like E-Strike and then reload, then shoot an arrow, etc. I just think it's very, very good. Plus, it's just a resource card that blocks free, so it just facilitates your other turns. I think cards like this, which are just class action, blue block 3, does a cool thing, but can also be your lands in your deck, your blocks, your resources. More stuff like this could be really cool to design around. Just blue block 3s for each class that do different things. I just really like it. I think it's great. So,
I think the card is extremely strong.
This is exactly what I was talking about when I was like earlier in the podcast saying they just keep printing cards for Riptide until he's good, and they're just like, all right, new set, here's a new Riptide card in the expansion slot. We're just going to keep doing it until he's good. He has the specialization, he has this card, he's got that weird other trap card that probably sucks, but I sent them to Az anyway when I sent him some Riptide stuff. I'm like, here you go, man. So I'm just
that card is quite comparable to this one, actually. It's reeling. So the other one is reeling, where you reveal the top X cards of your deck and you put all the traps into your hand, I think. So
something like that.
yeah, I haven't actually tried it in the Riptide deck that I've got at the moment, but I don't see a big payoff for it. But I definitely see a payoff for this, for how the Riptide deck wants to work in general, I think.
I mean,
but
the tutoring for 0 is real good, in like literally every card game ever made. So this card's real good.
Yeah, like again, the fact that this is like, I think the downside of it again is that it doesn't have go again, but I don't know that you need it.
I don't think it
really.
matters.
Like,
I don't think it matters. You just do all your other stuff.
Yeah, like
you want this to be your last card anyway. Like you want this to be your last card, and then you just arsenal the trap that you get. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know that it's mandatory that this have go again. And yeah, I think this card's insane. I think this card's really good.
I mean,
well, even on turn 1, if you E-strike for 5 go again and then play this on turn 1, you're laughing, because you get to put a trap, you get to put any trap into your arsenal. Look at their first turn hand where they crack back at you, and they can't keep any of it anyway, so you keep them off their arsenal for their first major turn of the game. So it could also be good on turn 1 as well, to sort of get that card advantage early. So yeah, I think it's got a lot going for it.
Right.
And people were saying, "Oh yeah, this is Seek and Destroy, but worse." Yeah, you're looking at it wrong. You're looking at it. This doesn't go in an Aelia deck, I don't think, whatsoever. This is definitely a Riptide card, despite it saying Ranger action on it. That might also, I was going to say, it might also play into another Ranger.
It's got a boat. Of course, it's for Riptide.
Exactly.
Got a boat.
Yeah. If you look closely enough, the Riptide's in the art there. There's like this green stuff hanging around the arse end of the boat, so maybe that's him, and all of his gunk.
Maybe,
but
could be setting up a trap for the
following along the boat.
Could be setting up like a reverse trap for the dudes about to ambush the boat. He can like trap them as they're trapping the boat.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do want to. Bill was talking about this not having go again, and I'm gonna trigger some Ranger players out there. You know what a totally balanced and fun card is that also doesn't have go again? Warmonger's Diplomacy. So, just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's good. And like I said, I think the first effect, the Seek and Destroy effect, is not the point of the card. Is like I said, what I mentioned earlier. I think the whole reason that first part exists is because of like the second part, because you get the trap and you force them to do the thing, otherwise they lose all their cards. I think if it didn't have that first part, it'd still be fine, but it's much better this way in that it like just works really well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, even that first part of text is still pretty good, considering that they can't arsenal or keep a hand, so that could also be very good. As well, just to try and maintain your cards, I guess. But yeah, that second part is just obviously clearly synergizing with that first part there. But yeah, I just think it's a slam dunk, really. Makes sense that it's not another Riptide specialization, but it may as well be, really. But there we go.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's. I think this is a good start to the spoiler season, which, as of recording right now, is starting in 3 weeks. So soon, excited to see what else they sort of trickle in, because they usually do some amount of additional spoiling. I know they've revealed, it feels like, quite a bit already, but there's still a lot to go. So
yeah, I think technically they have revealed one more card that basically is just kind of like a nothing card. It's a card called Fry that I don't think we talked about. It's just a 0 for 3 lightning. Yeah. Go again that has 0 block, so it's like ball lightning with no effect. It's literally just ball lightning with no effect. So
yeah, so that card was actually part of the First Strike Aurora deck. So we've got the First Strike Aurora deck and First Strike Terror decks out now as well, because obviously they were being played a lot at Gen Con. So I saw a few pictures on Twitter of the LSS stand, which is exactly the same stand as what was at UK Games Expo. So exactly the same layout, but they had the First Strike decks being played, and Fry was part of that list. So the First Strike deck lists are actually available on Fabrary as well now. And we saw, because I tweeted out the weapon from Aurora. I just really like this this weapon just makes you want to play the hero. Basically, it's probably, you know, in the grand scheme of things, just a weapon, but it just looks so sick and reminds me of like Final Fantasy and all this. Yeah, the deck lists are available for the First Strike decks as well now, so I'm going to get a few of those as well. I'm not sure if there's any unique cards in here. There was that Guardian one, which was the art was done by Vito Zoma, which we'll touch on in a bit when we go and show our stuff, because I've got a bit of art from him. But it was like a new guy. There was a Majestic in the Terra deck. I'm not sure if there was a Majestic in the Aurora deck, which is odd.
Not that I see.
Yeah, there wasn't. Yeah. I think the main reason behind it is honestly just that the effect wouldn't really scale. Like it's not an effect that technically can scale, I guess, because it's a yellow that says if an attack would gain power this turn, instead it gains that much +1. So if it was a blue, it would have to be 0. I think it's just because they designed it this way, and instead of it being a rare where a lot of rares will have different colors, this one just like doesn't. I know they've done rares that don't have scaling. Like obviously there was all the stuff in Uprising, in Dynasty, all the draconic stuff that's only red. But that's sort of the conspiracy theory that I've heard about why it's a Majestic.
That makes sense, yeah.
Just that it's a card that doesn't scale like traditionally colored cards usually do.
Maybe it's to balance Commoner. Probably not, but
maybe. Yeah, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that these decks are definitely, I think they're well timed as well, just to sort of get the hype rolling on I was about to say Bloomburrow because that's Magic the Gathering, Rosetta.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get the ball rolling on Rosetta, and just sort of to get the cards into the hands of the people early. So that they can, start to get a feel for, there are people who maybe haven't played since Tales of Aria and don't remember what it's like to play with, with lightning cards. So I think these are good as well. I think the MSRP on these is relatively low, which helps a lot for introductory products, pre-constructed decks.
I just like some of the cool things you can do with like the Aurora deck is like you play a card called Sizzle, which is a 0-cost lightning action. Your next lightning or elemental attack this turn gets +3. So that lightning or elemental attack can be your Starfall Sword, which if you played a lightning card this turn gets, this card's attacks get +1 and go again. So then you're attacking for 5. And then you can then follow that up with something called like Harness Lightning, which is a 0-cost action, which has lightning flow. If you've played a lightning card, deal 3 arcane damage. So you're doing 8 damage turn there, but with split damage. So it's quite interesting. You do 5 damage on your sword from the non-attack, which buffs it, and then you just fire a load of lightning at them. I can see Aurora being very annoying when you get to the late game. If you're just doing a chunk of physical damage and a chunk of arcane damage, I imagine towards the end of the game, if you can get them there, she's going to be quite difficult to deal with just looking at this First Strike deck list. God knows what the Majestics and other things are that she's going to be able to get access to. But I'm really, really liking the feel of this deck just by looking at this list. So
I'm excited for the lighted up equivalent. But for Lightning Runeblade, I think that'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, actually, speaking of Tales of Aria, this is kind of spoiling the surprise. But like I said at the beginning, and if you've hung around since the beginning, thank you, because now for the self-serving fun part, I guess, of the podcast, because what we wanted to do, because it is Collectors Week, we wanted to show off some things that we have for the Flesh and Blood trading card game, some game pieces that we've acquired that are either cool or interesting or sentimental or all,
Yep.
because there's no point in really shoehorning or pigeonholing things that matter to a collector to be one specific type of thing. So
Exactly,
for
yeah.
me, I had to think about it for a little bit because I have full CC playsets of foil Art of Wars, foil Command and Conquer's, foil Enlightened Strikes. Unfortunately, not original printing; they were all unlimited, but still, pretty decent. I also have some Judge cold foils. I have a Fate Foreseen and a Sink Below, which I just found again recently. They had been lost in my office for a little bit. I also have this whole aggro prism deck, which is mostly foiled. The equipment is all foil, all cold foil and stuff like that. But I think the thing that means the most to me is in this 4x4 binder. And for the audio only listeners, I do very highly recommend coming to the YouTube video just to see what we're all about. Whatever the timestamp is right now, you'll be able to see us show these all off. But I started in Tales of Aria. That was the first event that I went to was the Tales of Aria pre-release, and I fell in love with the game immediately. I thought it was really cool, and because I am the way that I am, I also bought a lot of product and wanted to make myself a complete set of Tales of Aria. So this was the first completed page of this binder. This is a full cold foil set of Tales of Aria. So it's all of the common equipment, all 10 of them, in addition to all 3 of the pulses, all 3 of the majestic weapons, including Duskblade, which I bought for too much because it was before it was banned, because my friend Jerry pulled it at the pre-release. Then it has the cold foil Corsham, which I pulled personally, Crown of Seeds, Heart of Ice, Shock Charmers, Rampart, New Horizon, and Spellbound Creepers. I also have Channel Lake Frigid, the alt art, in addition to a second one that is just kind of chilling. I also have a second set of pages here, which have all of the heroes, all the promo and reward heroes. So I have the cold foil young and adult heroes, their cold foil Armory promo weapons. I have the first artist proofs that I ever purchased. And I also have the errated Briar, because I have 3 copies of Briar that all have her old text, and then I have one that has the new text after she got nerfed. But
did you get that at Worlds?
Yeah.
Did you get that at Barca?
No, I think Kel gave one to me.
I think I sent it to.
Nice.
I got a bunch of them at some of the random events that I've been to. These are non-foil ones. I do personally own, I'm not going to be showing it off, but I do personally own a cold foil errated Briar. But I did not send that one to Bill. I sent him the non-foil one.
Yeah. So I just have a non-foil one. But yeah, so I have every card from Tales of Aria, every sort of cold foil and special card. I also have a stack of 20-ish of the cold foil cracked baubles, because I just got a bunch of them and then was buying them off of local people because I was just like, I just want to have, if I go to an event and I'm playing sealed or something and I need a bunch of cracked baubles,
the holiday one,
be able to use those. Yeah, the holiday one.
Nice. I got.
I just thought it was really cool.
3. I think I just have 3.
Yeah, I have 2 in this binder, and then hang on. I have another little box with Tales of Aria stuff. And are they in here? No, I put them somewhere else. But yeah, I have somewhere 20 different or 20 copies of the holiday cracked bauble.
I have them for shitty Christmas present for UPF, so you can give him a cracked bauble. You gotta give him a nicely wrapped cold foil one.
Yeah, you gotta give him a good present.
And then you got to play Codex of Inertia and put it in their arsenal, and then they can never play it, never use their arsenal again.
But yeah, so that's my sort of love letter to the game. Those are the things that I have that I hold the most dear. I was trying to make full sets of some of the other sets, and I was successful for a couple of them. I think I had a full set of Everfest as well, which was easy because that one was right after. But yeah, that was the one that I was able to do that gave me the most personal satisfaction because it was again the set that got me into the game. So I was very, very pleased when I got that sorted. I think the only other like really cool thing, if I can find them, I have a full set of the cold foil Marvel dragons from Uprising.
Oh yeah.
That one was a fun one to complete.
Nice.
But yeah, let's kick it over to, let's go reverse alphabetical. Kel, what you got?
Ooh,
What did
okay.
you bring to the class today?
Okay, I'll try to be
do you
quick.
got?
So I have some things that are just kind of like nice and shiny, and then I have some things that have a lot of sentimental value that are might also be worth a lot of money as well. So I have my 100% or almost 100% foil assassin deck. So this one, it's currently new right now. The new in the deck is the Marvel. You know, it's the Marvel new. The spring tunic here is just a rainbow foil. I say that as just a rainbow foil because I'll show off my nicer tunic. And then in the deck is like all foil. So like Leave No Witnesses is foil, Surgical Extractions, all full play set. I think the only cards that are not foil, there's a couple like I think Levels of Enlightenment and my E-Strikes, which are all alpha. So I have 3 alpha E-Strikes in here. Other notable things in here include Cold Foil Plague Hive. Let's see, a full play set of Rainbow Foil Command and Conquerors. If I want to flex, I also have a full play set of Alpha or First Edition. I guess it's not called Alpha. First Edition Command and Conquerors as well. So yeah, that's my all foil assassin deck, complete with cold foil equipment as well. So if we want to pull out the equipment, I've got like cold foil flick knives, cold foil black tech whispers, all of the new cold foil new stuff like Arousing Wave and Undertow Stilettos, and even an extended art cold foil Massacre Recurring Nightmares. So yeah, the deck is like as juiced as it can get without resorting to buying like gold foils and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's pretty close. And then I have a couple other. Let me put this aside so I don't knock it over anything. And then I have like the other really nice cards for my Uzuri deck. So full foil set of Shakedowns. Don't really play it much, but like I really like this extended art cold foil Redback Shroud, cold foil Shriek Razors, cold foil Snapdragon Scalers that I'm considering maybe selling. I'm not sure about these ones yet. And then like a full foil set of every other card. So Eradicates, Spreading Plagues. Here's some first edition foil Fate for Scenes. First edition foil Ravenous Rabbles. Alpha foil Scar for Scars. I think these are actually worth a little bit of money. And then another Plague Hive, but this one is signed by Mark Poole. And so that's kind of like the money swag that I have that I just really like. I have a lot more cold foils and stuff. I've started trimming my collection a little bit, but I still have an absurd amount. It's what happens when you when you spend like $1,000 to $2,000 in every set. So now I have. I'll try to go very quickly here. I have some very sentimental stuff. Some of them are also very nice. So like this is the cold foil adult Uzuri that was given to me by Legend Story Studios for spoiling Uzuri. So this one just means a lot. This is the Uzuri that I play in my deck. I also have this cold foil Fiendel Spring Tunic. I literally opened this from like the second box of Flesh and Blood I ever bought. I bought it off of eBay for like $60. No one knew what the game was at the time. And I opened this and I was like pretty excited because this is a card that everyone used. It turns out everyone still uses this card. So yeah, cold foil, Spring Tunic. This is just kind of like a nice little piece of my collection. And then I have some like non-cards. So like, for example, here is an artist proof Uzuri drawn by Soyame, one of my favorite Flesh and Blood artists. It's very, very pretty. It's my favorite artist proof that I have. It's on the back of it is the young Uzuri. And if you're curious, I can see what the number is here. 4 out of 56. So it's one of the lower numbers.
Nice.
Then I have this one that I showed off already. That's the Illusionist Amara. On the back of it is Spears of Surreality. But why this is important to me is because it's drawn by Crovius, one of my favorite artists, and I've personally worked with Crovius multiple times on Red Zone Rogue splash arts. She helped me design the character villain. Yeah, so this one means a lot on personal and like YouTube channel thing. This is just another one by Soyame. I have a lot of Soyame stuff, but I like this one because it's assassin related. So Leave No Witnesses. For those of you who are just listening, it's the Leave No Witnesses lady like licking a bloody blade. It's legit. This one's 8 out of 48, if you're curious. And then finally for the cards, I have one more thing after this, but finally for the cards, this is one of my favorite things that I own. This is a hand-drawn Viscerae on one of those blank foil cards by Steve Argyle, the artist of Viscerae, and also a very prolific TCG artist in general. Steve's a great dude, and every time he's at any event, I always go and say hi to him. He likes metal like me, and he's just a cool dude. He also has done art for Magic, very famously like Liliana of the Veil, but he's also done art for a lot of other things like Legend of the Five Rings. In fact, I think he was like the art director. I think he told me he was like the art director for L5R for a while. So yeah, this is one of my favorite things that I have. So like this Viscerae, and it has a signature, but he has like this custom little cartoon Viscerae drawn. It's very, very cute. And it says, Viscerae, Spinal Tap bassist, and then he wrote backup on the top. So it's Viscerae, Spinal Tap backup bassist, and he also drew a tiny little Stonehenge in the background behind it. Because if you know Spinal Tap, well, are we going to do Stonehenge? So yeah, I really love this. And then the very final thing is just very sentimental stuff. It's not cards. This is something that LSS used to do. They don't really do it anymore, which I think is kind of a shame, but I think it's something that makes a lot of sense as the company grows. They don't really have time for this, and it's more of an intimate thing and much less of a corporate thing, but I still really appreciated these. And these are the little Legend Story Studios like postcards that sometimes they would send to you if you're a creator or someone. And this one in particular, this is the handwritten one that James White sent to me for hitting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It is date marked November 1st, 2021. I'm not going to read the whole thing just to save time, but it is a handwritten thing from James White, and he just kind of sent this to me out of the blue, which was very sweet, and I appreciated it so much, and I never forget that. And then the other one from one of the other founders of Legend Story Series and Flesh and Blood. So here's another one. This one's by Robbie Wen, the creative director for the entire game, and it simply says, "I heard you like lore books. Signed, Robbie, co-founder." So I love how like James has like this really like floral, like detailed note, and then Robbie's like, "Yo, I heard you like lore books, so I sent you a lore book." And this is how I got my lore book. He sent it to me. So yeah, these are the last things. Amazing. They're just very, very sentimental to me. These are always live in the background. In fact, most of these things here live in the background display on my YouTube channel. I had to go pull these off of the display. So yep, that's my stuff.
Awesome.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's a very comprehensive collection.
Try to make it as small as possible. There's I have so much crap. Tried to just get
we all.
Yeah. Oh my God, don't I ever have just too many things. But I am actually I'm very excited to see the resident Aelia lover. What you've amassed over your career of being a fan of Aelia and collecting as many odds and ends as you possibly can. So last but certainly not least,
show us your shrine.
Yeah.
What have you?
There's definitely a cool couple of bits that I've got for Aelia. So I'll show those off in a minute. But first of all, I just want to mention a couple of other bits that I don't actually have on me at the moment because they're actually in the loft. So for people that have been following the podcast for a while, they would have known, and you guys would have known, that I'm still in my mum's place at the moment, while me and the girlfriend sort of save up to get our own place in the future. So all my other stuff, apart from the cards I actually need, are in the loft. But a few bits are in there, similar to what Kel showed just there. There's postcards from LSS, like a Christmas card from James White, which was on one of those postcards, which he signed himself. A couple of early postcards. I think one was written by Chris Bewley, actually, in the first original postcards for the content creator appreciation kit #1. I think came with one of those, and all the herald promos and stuff. I think you got some lying around as well, Bill. Like all the promos that LSS have ever sent us, they're in this box in the loft. And he's searching through his drawer right now to see if he can find them. There they are.
Yep.
All those.
Yeah, we have the very first one as well.
Yeah.
Ready to roll from Everfest, a foil
Oh,
ready to
nice.
roll. And
Yeah.
these are all the ones that they sent us. I haven't replaced any of them with like ones that I happened to pull or whatever. These are the cards that were sent to us by
The
LSS,
cards.
and
Yep.
very, very thankful for that.
Yep. Like
Yeah.
same. I have all mine back in the display. The only one that I actually play with and use is the cold foil Uzuri. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention those little things because obviously we all have those as well because of our involvement with the game and what seems like ages now. We've been doing this podcast for quite a while. But also within that box is other bits as well, like the Go Bananas that you guys got for me for doing the UPF series, which unfortunately didn't last as long as I thought it would do because it was just so much work to make it as good as I could get it for the one-man band that I am. But I appreciate you guys getting that for me. I don't know how you procured it or whatever, but it was nice to receive. And similar to that,
I don't remember.
yeah, I don't remember, but I just remember having a Go Bananas because of the UPF game. So I don't know how you procured that, but there we go.
I believe that I traded for it. I think I traded a Heart of Fiendel for it.
Oh wow,
It's like
nice.
so. Like yeah, I've come in possession of 2 Go Bananas. One of them is my own, and then someone at an event from New Zealand whose name I forget. Shout out if you're still listening to this. Gave me one to give away, but I think the one that we gave to you is Bill's, the one that Bill got. I think I just gave mine away on the channel or maybe on Twitter. I gave it away somehow. I don't remember how. But
yeah, well, I appreciate it nonetheless. And you sent me also a Yorick as well, Kel. Which is in that same box. So just like sentimental bits that we've got lying around our places that just spark different memories, which is always good. So those little bits are nice. But so first of all, I just thought I'd start with what's this? So this is another thing that obviously this all goes around in a circle. Really, this is the mat that you got me recently. The the Aelia Red in the Ledger Japan mat, which I couldn't go without. So that was great to be able to get my hands on that. And it's going to be interesting to see what other sort of Japanese exclusives, apart from the 5th anniversary packs, we're going to get access to. Because just the Japanese aesthetic and the language on your Arsenal zones and combat chains just looks sick.
Actually,
similar to that,
I just thought of something. While you're in Osaka, if you can you also pick up me a Aelia deck in Japanese, like one of the Japanese Aelia Armory decks? If they have one, I would like you to pick me up one. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I am actually going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing as well. I'm going to be going to table game cafe shuffle while I'm there. And I'm going to be doing a store tour video with them. So if they've got it, I can just get it. I can just get it there. But I'm sure they probably will have it.
Nice. Did you?
One of the.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to ask if you just if you already set that up with them, like you.
Yeah, I've asked them already. They're happy to do it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'll be doing that. The guys showing me around doesn't speak English too much, but I think the owner does. So. But I'm hoping to go there with someone who's quite fluent in the language, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe there'll be like a subtitles bit on the video. We'll see. See how grandiose we get with that. But the exact same mat I've also got, which is signed by Felicia Liang, who did the art. So, as you can see, multiple different Red in the Ledger mats that I've been able to procure. So for the audio listeners out there, they are both exactly the same mat. So the Felicia Liang signed one doesn't have any zones on it, and then the Japanese one, of course, does have zones on it. The next thing is this banner, which I'm probably not going to be able to get out in its full respect because it's quite large. So this is the Aelia Arcane Rising banner, and if you just roll it up, this is the one I took to the top of Penny Fan Mountain. I'm not going to be able to show it, am I? Really? Her face is probably larger than my face, or probably larger than the screen at large. There we go. Oh, there we go. It was a good angle.
Oh hell yeah!
So, can't even see me anymore, can you? You can't even hear me.
We can see her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See you
we-
later.
Azalea's
Yeah.
on screen at least. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the banner. I'm just rolling it up now, and you're probably getting some ASMR of me rolling this thing back up.
It's like squit, 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 squit,
tasty.
squit.
Yeah, so I'll try and just put that to the side for now. Then, of course, there was the Aelia Armory deck, which is a nice sentimental thing because I don't know if, quote unquote, any creator has spoiled a product yet. Maybe the professor, perhaps, spoiling the.
Back in the day, there have been a few people who spoiled the Blitz decks, I think. So back in the day, I think they gave one to a Magic content creator who was getting into it. I can't remember her name.
Nessa.
Yes.
Nessa Meow Meow, I think.
Yeah. She spoiled Briar, I believe, like the Briar Blitz deck. So yeah, there have been some cases of like content creators spoiling like Blitz decks and stuff.
Yeah, so that was just a sentimental.
Ooh, I think you cut out as.
Am I still here?
Okay, now you're here. You're good.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, so just being able to spoil a product for a hero that I've put a lot of time and energy into, despite the fact it was just a rubbish hero for the longest time, was a nice payoff. I don't like when I tweeted out about Judge, Jury, Executioner, which was obviously the spoiler card legendary Aelia specialization. I was just like, if I never get a spoiler card or a spoiler product ever again, I'm happy with the fact that I've got this legendary Aelia specialization to spoil, and then I just go and get an Armory deck to spoil, which is just I don't know how it can get better than that going forward. So,
I mean, for
unless
me,
it's a new hero.
For me, it's the hero. Like that's the big spoil because it's like
that's the big thing.
Like such the key part. I'm very, very honored that I was able to spoil Uzuri. Even if they never want me to spoil another hero again or whatever, I'm fine. I still gotta spoil my favorite hero, so I'm happy with that.
You've got to spoil an assassin, a rogue. Exactly.
Yeah, I gotta spoil it after. I think Diem Armada spoiled Arachne, so I was very, very happy to spoil Uzuri, and I don't think they've given it to players. Like I think they've done it every single subsequent time. Maybe because there was a little hiccup with mine, not on my fault at all. It's because Uzuri got leaked like a day before my spoiler was supposed to go live, and they caught it really quickly, so almost no one saw the leak. But they messaged me and they're like, "Hey, you can just post your video whenever." And so I was like, "Oh crap, it's not actually ready, but I guess I'm just gonna do it." And I was gonna re-record the audio because I thought it sounded really bad. But anyway, so I just pushed it out. So if the audio sounds fuzzy on that, that's why I was gonna re-record the whole my audio. Anyway, so yeah.
That's funny. It's an interesting journey, isn't it? Like that we have with heroes and stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm happy that I got to do that, and we'll see what happens from here. But speaking of heroes, of course, you got the Marvelous Aelia, obviously. This is the Geheime Trumpf version, which is the German version.
Nice.
Sorry for butchering the pronunciation there, but there are Italian, Spanish, and some other languages as well that you can get. French as well. Yeah, Italian, French. Spanish, and French that you can get the Marvel in.
Spanish, French, German.
Then we got couple of art things as well for Aelia. We got this from Izuadi, which I got at Worlds. So this is
looks great.
The famous story of a bit probably overexposed at the moment, but it looks better than what it is on this camera. The famous story of me being pissed out on my face on the player reception, just going up to Izuadi like, "Hey, Izuadi, you got an eyes proof for me?" Yeah, and that's where I got that from. That was a good time. Oh, funny story about the Aelia Marvel as well. Basically, when I went to Pro Tour Lille, so that was the first big event I ever went to, I took my binder with me at the time, which was just full of random Majestics and random stuff that I'd pulled from various sets that I never used. So my mate who I was there with, Tobias, he's an out-and-out trader. He absolutely loves trading and getting his hands on all the cool stuff. He went to one of the booths with my binder, because he was also looking for a Marvel Dorinthia as well at the same time, because Dorinthia's his bag. And he managed to get us both what we were looking for out of the trades that are available in my folder. So he just came back one day and was like, "Here you go, Az." I was like, "Oh, fuck it, hell, cheers, mate." So I got my Aelia from the stuff that was lying around, and that just goes to the collectability and the tradability of this game as well. As that if you've got a load of stuff, you can just normally trade it into other cards or other things that you want to get for your collection, which is great. I had a frog in my throat there.
That's all good. I've been, like I said, I've been. Sorry, way to put it. I'm not. I want to say downsizing, but that's not the right. I guess it technically is. I have a lot of cards. I have a lot of extra cards. I had like 12 Art of Wars, and I'm like, I don't need 12 Art of Wars. I'm just gonna sell them. And so I kept my full foil set. I kept my full first edition set, and I sold all of my unlimited. Same with CNCs.
Regulars.
Yeah, I kept my foil CNCs, kept my first edition, sold the rest, and I still have like 9 E-strikes. I should probably sell those at some point, like my extra E-strikes at some point too.
That's what I mean. They're like, that's a great thing about it. You know, with this game, you don't need to hold on to all of that really, unless you're like a investor or whatever, or singles seller or whatever. You know, that could be in the hands of other players instead. You know, we only need 3 each, don't we? Really? Yeah. And one of my E-strikes came from you actually. You gave it to me. Just like, oh, actually no, I think you lent it to me, and then I was like, oh shit, I've still got it in my deck.
Oh
just keep it.
Yeah. Like I said, I had so many. It's just because I opened up a ton of product. I've never bought. Well, that's not true. Actually, I bought my Alpha E-strikes from Fab Foundry, but I bought them for like $150, like all 3 of them for $150 back in the day.
Yeah.
And I've opened up every single other one, including my foils, and I opened up the German one too because we opened it. I think I was.
San Jose.
Yeah, I was opening it, and I was like, I opened him an Eye of Ophidia, right? Yeah, I opened an Eye of Ophidia, and I also opened up an E-strike, separate packs. And I was like, joked, and I was like, can I have the Eye of Ophidia? Like, I opened it, and he's like, no. I'm like, what about the E-strike? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, really? And he's like,
sure.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. He's like, you opened up the Eye for me. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because you opened up the Eye of Ophidia while we were filming, I think, or you captured it on your vlog, or captured it on my vlog. I think it was both. We both captured it, didn't we?
Yeah, it was in the vlog time. For sure. It was that's the Worlds one, the first Worlds one. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just good memories all around. And finally, another thing that I've got as well is a Valentine's Day thing from Vito Zoma. So Vito Zoma was the artist that did the Thrive art, which we spoke about earlier. I think that maybe I might get dehydrated from this Bella Moretti that I'm drinking a lot of. So he also did this for me as well, which you probably can't see because it's overexposed.
Hell yeah!
Get the flare out of the way. So this is 4 artist proofs made into one piece, which is just currently in my folder, and just says "Dominate Me." And it was done for
Yep.
It was done for Valentine's Day. So yeah, that's Vito Zoma. Nice. Vito Zoma's art. Who I think did the art for Sprocket Rocket, which was your spoiler card, I think, Bill.
Yes. Yeah, I had Sprocket Rocket and Dumpster
Dive.
Is it? Yeah, Dumpster Dive, I think.
No. But yeah, I think it was pretty much. I'm just going to confirm that right now. So Sprocket Rocket was Vito Zoma, yeah, so I was right. So yeah, he's got. I could have just checked the back of the card, because they're all artist proofs after all. But yeah, that's my stuff. Bit of a mishmash of stuff, and yeah, it's just funny how all these memories come flooding black when you get these things out, which is why we collect things and why we keep things, right? So it's all about the sentimental value for a lot of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
having the non game piece stuff is always really neat, because that's the stuff that has like an additional story behind it. It's not just, oh, I purchased this so that I could play it in a deck. It's like, I purchased this so that I could have a piece of the history of the game.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna do it. You just made me think of another thing that's actually I love quite a bit, and these are things that I would never even consider selling.
We can see them.
No, you can't.
She's in the background there.
Yeah, you can't see it. Those visual or the not watching the podcast. These are both actual paintings from the card game Sorcery. But over to this. Actually, maybe let's do this. Oh, there you go. So here are the three Shikishis that I have. I could just take them off the walls. You can see some of my studio lighting. So I have a Prism and a Dromai, young Dromai, both drawn by artist Livia Prima, one of my favorite artists. She's fantastic. Both her and her significant other or husband, Billy Christian, they're both great. So I asked her to draw a Prism for me, and then I asked her to draw a Dromai for me. The Dromai one is actually addressed to me, which is cool. And then beneath that is Uzuri, drawn by Iswardi Therianto, also addressed to me. And all of them look super, super nice. Yeah.
They do, yeah.
And so, this is my hand-drawn part of the studio. This is my hand-drawn wall. So we have those three, and then another sorcery painting, and then another sorcery, three original paintings from sorcery. But we're not talking about that. So come back over here.
Nice.
Yeah. No, hell yeah. Again, I love seeing stuff like that. Seeing the stuff that again, like, immortalizes the history of Flesh and Blood. So that stuff's really cool. Like I have the mats as well. Like I have the Japanese spring tunic mat. All the mats that I've received from LSS that are, like, I think they're relatively like, I don't think they're widely circulated anymore. The original one, the first one that I got, was an Icelander mat, which ended up being a relatively common one. But there's the one for, like, Boast that was just recently for heavy hitters. I haven't seen those around as much. I don't know if they're still, like, common. They might still be, but
the mats are one thing that I also really need to cut down the excess on. I literally have like 70 or 80 Flesh and Blood mats, and then tons of others from other card games. And I really just need to pick like my favorite, I don't know, like 10, and even 10 is a lot, and then just sell the other 60. Because I think I have almost every single Tales of Aria mat. At the time they were giving out specific mats for different callings. And they were like all of the channels, and that, like, Channel Lake Frigid, Channel Mount Heroic, all these. And then all of the Pulse, like Pulse of Eisenloft, Pulse of Volthaven. So I have all of those, plus a bunch of others. I do have a couple sentimental ones. The sentimental ones are the ones that I got for casting. Coincidentally, those are also the valuable ones, because those are the Judge playmats. So I have the Demonastery Judge playmat, which I think is incredibly rare. And then I have the Everfest Judge playmat. I might have another one too. I don't remember. There's like I said, there's like literally like 70 playmats. So
you'll all be pleased to know that you probably still have the Living Legends podcast playmat that I sent to you both.
Yeah,
somewhere.
It's in the pile with the 70 playmats and more, because there's also playmats for all the other TCGs that I cover on top. There's literally probably like 100 something playmats. I'm just gonna take this and point it down.
Experience for the audio, the visual viewers.
So that's a big stack of playmats.
Oh wow!
It's a lot. It's a lot. I think there's probably 100 or 200 mats there. So there you go.
Yeah, I know exactly where my Living Legends mat is. It's on the table right behind me.
Nice. Where I was going with that comment is that I don't know where mine is. I don't know where it is. I've lost it. I don't know where it's gone.
You're the one who made them.
I made them. My baby, I've lost it.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I just don't have a clue where they are, but I thought they were quite cool as well. But again, yeah, just triggering memories for our sort of own personal journeys in this game is just what it's all about, really. So it's nice to revisit every now and again. And Collector's Week was just a nice sort of excuse to reminisce. So that's why we did that whole segment there. So. And
now we're gonna turn it to you, dear listener and/or viewer. Let us know in the comments down below what your most cherished Flesh and Blood object is. I'm going to word it like that, so you can pick anything you want that's just related to Flesh and Blood. If it's an artist proof, it's a playmat, whatever. Card. Like maybe you have a cold foil, I have a fiddy or something. Maybe you have something that's worth like thousands of dollars. Or maybe you have something that's just super sentimental and not worth anything. Like this piece of paper that James, or this cardboard that James wrote on is very, means a lot to me. Yeah, so
yeah, there'll be some interesting comments to read out next week if they're all sentimental. So leave some comments in the section below. Again, we'll try and speed run them at the start of the episode. So make sure you do that.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
But I believe that will just about wrap it up for this week of the Living Legends podcast. So we'll do a quick little sign off, and yeah, if you're still here, thank you very much for hanging out, and your support is always appreciated. Once again, if you have a card that you find very near and dear, or something that you pulled that was like really expensive that you were excited about, feel free to let us know. Even if you don't, just say hi. We like it when you say hi.
Yeah, just a favorite Fab memory in general. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, once again, I've been Bill from the Spike Feeders and the Living Legends podcast. You can find me on social media at BillTSF. You can also find me on YouTube at the Spike Feeders Fab, where we do live edited gameplay content. I believe our current Gauntlet series is over, and we're kind of in the middle of deciding what our next one will be. But feel free to stay tuned with that. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell if it does anything, which is a callback to earlier in this exact same podcast when we were talking about that, how that's dubiously helpful. But yeah, and I will kick it over. Let's go reverse alphabetical again to Kel.
Yo, what's up? How's it going, everyone? I'm Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue. You can go find me everywhere at Red Zone Rogue. Twitter and YouTube are the most common places. These days, I'm very, very much enjoying several different anime TCGs on Red Zone Rogue, so that's a lot of the content. I will still be posting Flesh and Blood content occasionally, but more importantly, the Living Legends podcast will be on the Living Legends podcast YouTube channel, so go subscribe to that one. That's my recommendation. Go follow the Living Legends podcast YouTube channel. And I also post random crap on Twitter sometimes. Sometimes it's complaining that we're making a joke that my package got delivered to the wrong address, which it did, and I still have no idea where it is. And sometimes it's just a meme or a shit post or something. So go follow me there for for reasons. I don't know. 4,000 people follow me for some reason. So go ahead and follow me.
Doing a great job selling yourself.
Yeah. Maybe that's just the amount of non-committal self-shilling that appeals to all of the the young folks out there. All the Zoomers half my age. Anyway, Az, how about you? Where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can find a little bit of the Living Legends podcast over on Go Again Gaming at the moment. That's my channel, because we're all still partaking in the league that means nothing. So at this moment in time, the round 3s are going to be being played at this point. Round 2s are going up for the next few weeks. It's really been quite good for the channel, because YouTube is recognizing that I'm basically posting a video every day, at least at the moment. Apart from weekends, so it's seen my channel grow to 1,800 and 1.82. So it might make it possible to reach 2,000 this year, which would be nice.
As to 10K, as to 10K. Go sub to Az too. After you sub to the podcast, go sub to Az as well.
Yeah,
and the Spike Feeders Fab too. Get them to 10K as well.
Spike Feeders Fab.
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, so it's been really good for my channel. So go and check it out. It features these guys' games as well on there. So we got Bills coming up in I think it's next week when you played against Roger Bodie on Bolton.
Yes.
And that it was a fun game. You had some insane turns. He had some insane turns. It's just you were on the latter end of. I won't spoil it, but there we go. So
clearly, Bill and I both won our games with a commanding victory.
Absolutely.
I don't actually know how Bill's game ended. I'm just saying, stuff.
I did really like
very long.
I really liked when Az was, I suppose, editing the game, and just sent a screenshot of my board, and I think the direct quote was, "What the f is this board state? What is this combat chain?"
What is this chain? Yeah. So yeah, just some. The round twos have been really, really good. So go and check them out on Go Again Gaming. There's some extremely huge power turns from a lot of the players in round two. So it's really, really interesting to see.
Watch my game when it comes out and count the number of times I get ALS'd, and then count the number of times I get.
Oh really?
I get eruditioned. Go do it.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
I got
Nice.
prismed,
Yeah,
yo.
I'm editing that game right now for releasing, not next week, but the week after, I think. But yeah. So and then so I'm Going in Gaming AZ on Twitter, and then that's pretty much where I operate at the moment. So go and check those out when you can. And that's pretty much it for today, I think.
Yeah,
Been a good one.
that'll be it.
Been a long one, but that's why we didn't go to the Arsenal step, because I think we've been chatting on for a long time today. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it, really?
Yeah, that'll be it. So thanks once again, everybody, for listening, and have yourselves a great night, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Like and subscribe to Living Legends Podcast.
I'm leaving that in.